Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. It is Thuja Thursday today. I'll be working on my elephant penjing. The trees in this penjing are Thuja occidentalis or Eastern White Cedars, and they're styled to look like the African acacia trees. I last pruned this forest in May of this year, so it's been a while and it's grown quite long and quite shaggy over the summer. So today I'll be pruning all the trees back, making them more compact. I'll also be pruning the trees to try and get that flat top acacia style. If you look down below the trees at the forest floor, my intent is to have a watering hole in the corner here, a pathway that goes between the trees, and right now it's all overgrown with sedum, so I'll have to do a lot of cleaning out and get the forest floor looking nice again. I'm going to start the pruning now, and I'll begin with the largest tree in the forest. So the first thing I notice about this tree is that it's starting to come out from the front of the pot towards the viewer quite a lot. I'll show you that in the side view. Here's a look at the side view of the tree, and this is the right-hand side. So the front of the tree is over here. So the edge of the pot comes up here, and you can see how much of the branches are sticking out in front of the pot. So I want to reduce that back, kind of keeping the canopy more over top of the pot, so it's not coming out the front so far. All right, so here's this branch, the lowest one. So I'm going to begin pruning it back. I'm just looking for branches to prune it back to. On these Thujas, you've always got to leave foliage at the end of the branch. You can't take it back to bare wood, otherwise the branch just dies off. So it's similar to a pine tree. You've got to leave green needles at the end of each branch on a pine, and same with the Thuja. So I'm going to take this branch back. I've got a branch back further, and I'll just work slowly away, reducing it back. So that's pushed it back some. I don't know if I can get it further. I'll have to look and see what branches I have back in here. This branch kind of comes out and divides back in here. I do have 3 branches coming up from one spot, so I can take one of them out. I'll show you that. You're looking down at that branch now, so here's the one I wanted to show you. So it comes out, it divides from 1 to 2 here. This one comes out and then it divides into 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to reduce that back. So I think, because I have a branch coming out here, I don't think I want this one kind of interfering with it. So I'll take that one out as the first cut. So here I go. Like that. Now, this one can be cut back. I'll cut this one back to go right back to here, kind of reducing the end of that branch a bit. I'll even take a bit more off the end here, like that. Okay, so back to this one. So I still have 3 coming from one spot here. This one kind of comes 90 degrees to the branch, so it doesn't flow, so I'm going to take that one off, like that. So that leaves me with 2 branches now. So this one then comes out, it divides, so I can take the upper part off here. And I can reduce some of these branches back. I think I'm going to take it back to there, making them more compact. There. So that's got this branch tip quite a bit more compact. And as it back buds and that, I'll continue working to bring it back even further in the future. But for now, it's looking quite nice. I can do a little cleanup work on this side here. It's a little dense, so I'll remove this bottom branch. And remove this upper part here. I'll remove this upper part here. That. This part. And I'll take this part off, keeping my shoots here. And I think I'm going to even take this back, taking this end off here like that, keeping these two branches as my branch leaders. Now there's one above that's kind of blocking out the light to that branch, so I'll take that one back too. So that's got that branch that was extending out the front quite a bit shorter. It's getting much closer to the edge of the pot. Doesn't come out in the viewer's face quite so much. I should give you an update on the auction ficus, the tiger bark ficus that I've been kind of working on over the last couple of years. It went for $650 and it was bought by Ross. Ross has been in some previous videos of mine. He's a Toronto member, really nice guy, and I think he's got a really good tree that'll just keep getting better in the future. Now when you look from the side view, you can see that branch is shortened quite a bit. I can still get it shorter in the future, but for now that's as far as I can bring it back. Above that branch that I just pruned here is another branch that needs pruning back. It's kind of long, so I need to get to the heart of that. So it starts way back here. There's a bit of dead foliage in there. So here I have a division. It divides into three. I'm going to take out that middle one because it extends out front quite a bit, and then reduce the other one back as compact as I can get it, always keeping nice green foliage at the tip of your branches, and not just nice green foliage but really healthy green foliage. You don't want to prune back to weak and dying foliage, otherwise you might lose the branch. So these trees are dormant for the winter, so it's quite safe to work on them. In spring they'll green up and resume growing. So each branch has to have light. You can see it's still being blocked out by these branches above here, so I've got to get those ones pruned back further. I've got a lot of branches, like layers of branches, and the upper ones are shading out the lower ones, so I've got to make sure each branch gets good sunlight. Otherwise those branches will just get weak and die off. So there's the front view again. I see this branch is going quite tall. That needs pruning back. To where is the question though? I'm probably changing this as the front view of the tree eventually, so this will be the sort of the main leader going up. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm pruning it. Really nice tree, this one. Love the shape of it, it's beautiful. Just need to get this branch a little more compact, but that'll come. I'll keep working away at the trees. There's another branch here. I have a lot of branches coming from one spot. I gotta clean that up. I think this one on the inside's gotta come out like that. This one could be shortened a bit more. I want to keep everything fanning out from the main trunk too. I don't want branches kind of curling back in towards the tree. Thinking this one's a little high, I'm going to take it off. Like that. Kind of flattening the branch in this one too. Keeping the branches a little flatter. I think I'm going to spin it around and work on this back branch here now. I have to keep this back branch fairly compact because it'll shade out the trees around it. Well, that is getting a lot more compact now. The tree looks much better now. It's much sparser. You can see more of the branch structure. It doesn't look so full and lush, so I think it really suits this style of planting nicely. So I'll start working on the other two trees now, getting them kind of thinned out too. I'm even thinking, I've got this trunk line comes up here and it divides into 3 at this one point. I'm thinking of taking this branch out. It kind of grows up, kind of a bit awkward looking. I'll reduce it back first. Yeah, I think it'd look better without it, so I'm going to remove it. It interrupts the flow of that tree. I think that looks better now. So I'll work on thinning these upper canopies, making them more compact, getting better branch flow and direction. I'm just cleaning out this apex up here. I've got a lot of new shoots that have grown in, so I have multiple branches coming out from one spot, so I'm just kind of cleaning it out, the structure a bit. So when you have a big kind of canopy like this that's very confusing, you can't really see what's going on with the branches yet, you just kind of work away, pruning, the long shoots back where you can, and slowly you reveal the tree structure, and then you can see what branches need removing and which ones you want to keep. Half the battle is just being able to see what's going on with the tree and not getting overwhelmed. You just take, one branch at a time. Prune the tips back, and slowly you'll see more and more of the structure of the tree. A lot of growth out the left-hand side here I've got to reduce back. Just getting too long. Long and bushy looking. Here's a look at that back tree from the back view. So you can see I've kind of exposed the structure, got all the branches sorted out. Took a lot of pruning. It was quite, dense in here. But I've got it down to something looking quite nice, I think. Here's a look at that group of 3 trees from the front now, so you can see more of the individual trunks on them and branch structure. They're a lot more thinner and sparser looking, and they really suit the African landscape. So the next tree I'll work on, you can see the bushy one back here. I'll get that one pruned up. This tree sure has grown from when I first planted it. I think both this one and this one are cuttings, actually. Ones that I rooted. Oh, it sure is windy out today. It's also warm. We have 14 degrees outside today, which is just amazing for this time of year. So in the greenhouse here, it's room temperature. It's just really nice working in here. The wind howling outside. Here's a look at that back tree now. It's all pruned up. So it's still got the flat top style, but you can see the branch structure more. And then it'll fill in again. This tree is the last tree to get pruned up in the planting, so I'll work on that now. Again, trying to give it that flat top style. I think that'll do for that tree. It doesn't need a whole lot of work. It's very small still. Here's a look at the trees now, all pruned up. So I'll be repotting this in spring, and I'm going to rearrange the trees. So I like the overall arrangement of the trees. I think I just need to rotate some of the trees in the clump there to get a better front on some of them. And maybe even the 2 trees off to the left-hand side, I could try and pick the best front and kind of plant them back in about the same position. I think it's a nice look for the overall forest. I thought I'd show you how much I pruned off this forest. That's quite a bit of foliage, but they needed thinning quite badly. I'll get the bench cleaned up, and before I start working on the landscape part of the forest, I've got some mail to show you. The package is from Veronika in the United Kingdom, and she sent me a handmade hat. So I'll open it up and we'll see what it looks like. Veronika sent me this cool card. You open the door up and it says, "Dear Nigel, I handmade this hat for you. Inside is cotton, which is easy on your hair. Pom-pom is optional. You can snip it off if you want. Warm wishes, Veronika." So thanks very much. And this is a cool card. It's got a little door that opens up and a Christmas tree inside, and very cool. Thanks very much, Veronika. All right, to the hat now. Let's have a look at the hat. Here it is. Oh, look at this. Check it out. Oh my goodness, is that ever cool? Wow, this is awesome. Look at the colors. Oh, and there's some chocolate in it. Dairy milk, Cadbury Dairy Milk. Wow, thank you. I'll eat that for sure. This hat is awesome. Look at that. Awesome colors. I like it. Okay, I've got to try it on. Here I go. Oh, it fits nice. That is definitely me. I'll be wearing this hat on those cold winter days. Oh, nice. I like the pom-pom too. Very cool. Thanks, Veronika. I love it. I'm going to start cleaning up the landscape now. So I've got to pull a lot of that sedum out. It's just taken over the entire surface of the forest. Get my watering hole reestablished, my pathways. I'll leave a little bit of the sedum, but sparingly. I think a lot of it I'll just pull out by hand. Just kind of get it out with the roots and everything. The sedum is quite old. Someone offered me a clump of it from their garden. So I pulled up a little clump of it and I planted it in the front garden. And it's been growing there for like 25 years. And it's never died over the winter. It just keeps growing. It's very hardy, very prolific. And you could easily make it as a ground cover under a larger bonsai. It would look quite nice. You know, people who live in kind of hot, dry climates, you can't grow moss very well, so it's better to use something like this, that more of a succulent that grows well in your conditions. So I'm trying to get this pathway down to my watering hole here. I got to clear all the sedum out of the watering hole. Wow, there's a lot of it. Sedum also makes a good accent plant. You can plant it in a pot and it kind of cascades over the sides. You can see how it's hanging over the sides here. Looks really nice. I've seen it done and it's very effective. And sedum can get, it flowers and it gets color in the summer and the midsummer. You can get red tinges to the green leaves. That can be quite a nice looking plant. And there's all kinds of different varieties of it. This is like the little miniature variety. Now they don't have a very deep root system, so it shouldn't affect the health of your trees at all. Although it does spread quite easily. You know, in a matter of summer, a small clump of it can spread quite far. So it's a little on the invasive side, especially in a bonsai pot. But it is very cool looking. So I normally display this seed tray pot inside a wooden frame that Angel made for me long ago. So I've been debating, you know, should I keep it in the seed tray pot, or I do have those nice plastic seed trays that I got at the indoor grow store. That'd be an upgrade from these brittle plastic ones, and that would fit nicely in the wooden frame. So I think I'll probably do that. Just repot it into the stronger seed tray frame and keep the wooden frame around it that Angel made, because it looks really good in that. And it's a good size for a forest. I've got the heat in the greenhouse totally off this afternoon, and it's still getting warm in here. It's a little higher than the ideal room temperature. It's about 22 degrees right now, Celsius. So quite warm in here. Well, now you see them, now you don't. I'm almost done. I'm going to plant a little bit of moss in here too, just to kind of fix it up a little bit. Especially around the watering hole here, just to green it up. I think the trees look quite good with, just bare sand or soil underneath them. I've got some of that moss that I saved from my very first bonsai, my first ficus. So I'm going to plant a clump in the corner here. And I'll put some here. And some over here. And a bit up front. Just to kind of green up the edges of the watering hole a bit. Like that. That's looking much better. Let's get the elephants back in here. All right. Put the little baby down here. And the mama here. So this Cadbury Christmas chocolate is pretty cool. I'll show you it. I've already eaten quite a bit. I gave my wife some too. So it's like this. So it's white chocolate and milk chocolate, and you can kind of break it off in triangles so you can get like a Christmas shape. It's really good though. Thanks, Veronika. I think the elephant penjing's looking quite nice and trimmed up. So in spring, I'll go and repot it, and I think it'll be in that seed tray, the better quality seed tray. Maybe rearranging the trees a little, rotating them around, trying to find an even better front for them. But I think it's looking pretty good. It's all trimmed up, ready to grow for spring. It was really nice working on my Thuja occidentalis or Eastern White Cedar Penjing on this blustery warm day today. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.